So for this week's COVID update, we usually do this Tuesday or Wednesday. I actually do not have news for you that daily cases have continued down in the United States for weeks and weeks and weeks, really since the start of September. I've been telling you weekly, hey guys, good news. US cases are declining all the way down last week to cases being down 59% from the peak during the Delta wave. But sadly, this week, over the last week, cases are still down relative to that Delta peak, but no more than they were last week. They basically flattened. We're down 59% from the Delta peak. To be exact, average daily cases in the US are now down 59.99%. So like basically 60%. Not a big change from last week's number of 59%. So for whatever reason, and we'll talk about maybe why, cases have leveled off a bit in the United States. Now, 60,000, if we're declining, 60,000 is, better than 100,000, better than 160,000, where we were at the peak of the Delta wave. As an endemic flat level, if cases are going to steady at 60,000, that's not going to cut it for getting back to what we would call normal. It's just way too high a level. The good news is that deaths have continued down over the last week, maybe not surprisingly, because deaths tend to lag cases on about a 3 to 4 week delay. Deaths in the US now down about 45% from their Delta peak, which was close to 2,000. Now we're seeing about 1,050, 1,100 COVID deaths per day in the United States. About a third of where we were at the very worst peak in January of 2021, but way, way too high to be anywhere near what we would call a normal situation. Remember that in a typical flu season, US flu deaths average about 100 a day over the course of the year. So we are still seeing 10 to 11 times the daily deaths from COVID than from flu in a typical season. Now, what's happening around the world? Last week, we actually saw cases tick up globally a little bit, and we wondered, is it a trend or is it a blip? Sadly, globally, cases have again ticked up just a little bit, not by much, basically steady. Last week, we were seeing about 420,000 cases of COVID per day. We're now seeing about 425,000 cases of COVID per day. Not a big change, but not a good number. We've also seen global deaths kind of level out, slightly tick up, not a major change. Right now, about 7,000 people every day around the world are dying of COVID. The big news in the US over the last few days is that a CDC panel has unanimously recommended that the Pfizer COVID vaccine be approved for kids ages 5 to 11. That's a major step in starting to vaccinate kids 5 to 11. That would be a major step forward in better protecting people. There is the belief that maybe as soon as this Friday, the day after tomorrow, 5 to 11-year-olds could start to get vaccinated. We don't yet know how many parents plan to get their 5 to 11-year-olds vaccinated. That's a question. It's an empirical question to which we don't yet have an answer. We do know that it is going to be a different dosage. The dosage for 5 to 11-year-olds is going to be about a third of what it would be for adults. And importantly, you may have read, you may not, the way that these doses are distributed for adults and 12-plus-year-olds is in vials that contain multiple vaccines. At one point, it was 5 with sort of a little extra. There was approval for a 10-dose vial, and you fill the syringe with the appropriate amount. From what is being said so far, in order to avoid any confusion, not only is the dose 1/3 for 5 to 11-year-olds, but the vials will be different, just so there's no confusion whatsoever about this is the adult vial, and you take X amount. You will have a different sized vial, differently labeled, when it's for the 5 to 11-year-old. So not only do you put a different amount in the syringe, but it will be coming out of a different vial, all meant to reduce confusion. So that's going on. The other news that a few of you sent me, which I don't think there's really any reason to panic right now. It doesn't sound good. The headline is that there's a potentially faster spreading Delta variant, AY4.2, which has now been spotted in 8 states. Before people flip out, it is believed that AY4.2 spreads faster than the main Delta variant, but there is no evidence at this time that it causes more severe illness. Vaccines remain effective against the AY4.2 variant. And in addition to that, there is no evidence at this time that it is going to become a dominant variant anyway. It's a sublineage. It's staying as a very small fraction of circulating cases, and it's been around for weeks, but it is being studied. It's sort of a descendant of the Delta variant. I may get my third dose this weekend. Netherlands recently announced everyone will be able to get third doses, including people under 60. I spoke to my doctor about it. My doctor said, right now, it's not something where I'm saying to you, sir, that's how my doctor talks to me. He says, sir. He's not saying, sir, go and get the third dose for sure. But if you get it, it's fine. There's no downside. I was vaccinated with my second dose at the end of February, which it's been, that's almost 9 months at this point since my second dose. So I'm looking very strongly at getting my third dose this weekend. Let's put it that way. That's the latest on COVID. We'll see what happens between now and next week. One of our sponsors is Magic Spoon breakfast cereal, sweet and tasty like the cereals I loved as a kid, but without the sugar or the carbs. Every serving of Magic Spoon has 0 grams of sugar, only 4 net carbs, 140 calories, and packed with 13 grams of protein. Perfect if you're doing keto, perfect if you're doing low carb, great if you're just trying to reduce your excess sugar intake, and because it's packed with protein, it's great before or after a workout. Magic Spoon flavors include cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, and cinnamon. They're bringing back cookies and cream. They're bringing back maple waffle. You can build your own variety box and try them all. Magic Spoon is so confident in the product, if you don't love it as much as I do, they will refund your money, no questions asked. Go to magicspoon.com/Pacman. The link is underneath this video, and you'll get $5 off when you use the promo code Pacman at checkout.